So we're trying to keep that intact as it's written, and the only way to do that would be to disallow clothing lodges, private clothing lodges in the
First, I would like to see if anybody here would like to speak in favor of the application. And is there anyone here that would like to speak against the proposed application? Mayor, I see no public comment. Ask that the public hearing be closed.
It's closed. Larry, did we get a flag?
It was up there.
Have you got a picture of a flag you can put up on the TV here? Okay. While we're waiting to try to find the flag, huh? Well, I'd just like to. Good, okay. I would like to go ahead and call it to order, but I'd just like to mention Squire Brown is our audience here. Squire was back in the day when a lot of things were formed that we have now. We've got a sewer treatment plant that's brought us years and years down the road, and that man was a part of it. Squire, we just appreciate all the years that you've dedicated to your community. I want to thank you for that. It's good seeing you here today. Now we're going to have a prayer, and then we'll turn and face the flag. Wow. And we'll do the Pledge of Allegiance. Vice Mayor Johnny Terrell has so graciously said that he would handle the prayer.
Okay. Heavenly Father, we come again this afternoon with a bowed head and a humble heart, asking you, Father, to bless this council and bless this meeting. Let us do things that you want us to do as keepers of your people. We ask that you just please to be with us and lead and guide us in the way that you would have us to be. Father, I ask that you look on our military personnel that's in harm's way. Bless and keep them, Master, and bring them back home safely, sir. Father, I just thank you, and we have all the freedom in the world, thanks to you, Father. And we just ask you just to continue to bless and keep us, is my prayer. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, John. Y'all all stand. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. You may be seated. And we'll be getting the real flag over here pretty quick. It's on the way. All right, now we're going to do something that's going to be fun. Back about December of 2013, Casey, your husband's name is Jeff. I forgot your husband is Scott. Scott called me, and then he sent me an email talking about the beautiful portrait you had done of the Fullwood Park, the entrance of the Fullwood Park. And that your family would like to dedicate it, especially for Squire and his lovely bride and all the years that he was here. But you just had a heartfelt desire to place this thing here at City Hall. And we appreciate that. Of course, I think Rona had the idea that, hey, let's wait till we get the mine redone, nice and, huh?
It took a little longer than we
Took a hair longer, but you know, good things are worth waiting on. But there's a story behind it as well, because Squire's daddy was a construction person, and didn't he build the Fullwood Park gate, the gate right there? Let me come down with you, and then we need to face it back so the council can see it as well.
And this is the painted of the Fullwood Arch. It was constructed in 1934, so in other words, 81 years ago, about this time of year, my grandfather was still holding strong. So I'm honored that the city of Tifton has agreed to accept the painting on behalf of my family, and I donate it in honor of my grandfather who built the arch, and in honor of the pride that I feel every time I ride by the arch, you know that my grandfather built it, and in honor of my dad who served as mayor for several years back in the 70s. And the pride that I feel every time I drive through a neighborhood with all the houses that he built and that my mom, Evan Brown, designed. And actually, if you look here, my mom and dad are pictured there together among the longleaf pines and oak trees. So thank you very much for accepting my painting, and I hope that it brings you some joy as it brings me.
Casey, well, it's beautiful. I'd like to thank you for this on behalf of the city council. We really appreciate that. You are a mighty good artist. That's very nice.
I'd also really quickly like to introduce my Aunt Sissy, Mickey Goodwin, my dad's sister and also the daughter of the builder of the arch.
If you don't mind, just a minute, oh, that's people know worse than I have to do it. The arch, the part that Casey was talking about, to get this arch circle, there was, back then, everything had to be supported with wood. There's no steel involved in the building of this arch. So you had to build a wood in here and with a wood band here, and you lay these stones on top of that. Now, they had to stay in place at a certain time until the water cured out. So as these people were, it's going to fall, it's going to do that. But my dad stuttered all the time. He said, well, we will see. Still there. But, I would like to say this to the council. Give a chance to look at all that. I see the change before he don't count. I used to be mayor, and I used to be in that position too. But I think as a citizen, I want to say one thing on behalf of my family, and I know a lot of other people. You hold a public office, which is, we're gonna hold you people to a higher echelon than we ordinary citizens. But I will say this on your behalf, thank goodness we've got people who are willing to expose themselves to the public, to hold a public office. Because if you want to get, just find out how low down you are, run for public office and get elected. I don't know, I stayed here a long time. But as I just told the office back here a few minutes ago, whenever I was down here, people said, well, Sparky, anybody ever hurt your feelings, get on to you, fuss at you about it? Yeah, I had two yesterday. What, two? My word. I said, but I had 10,998 more that didn't say a word, but I guess they were happy. I think we people are really grateful to you people who will offer the public office. Because I'm sure you hear, for the money, if you are paid each month, that's what they told me, $50 a month back then. I said, no, I just can't survive $50. But, anyway, don't feel like everybody might be down on it, because you do a pretty good job. I promise you, you'll find out when you don't do a good job.
Amen.
And I appreciate you folks for coming today.
We do too, Squire.
It's an honor for us to offer this portrait, to the city, to do with it as you wish. We hope you find a pretty good place to hang it.
We will.
But a lot of people go through here, believe it or not, cars drove through this in its original days. Now, keep in mind, this was Model T4s and Model A4s, and they were about so wide.
Yeah.
And you could drive through without hitting the stone. But nowadays, you can fortunately see, that was closed off a long time
Thank you, Squire. Let's give Squire a hand. And thank you again, Casey. Appreciate it. We have a presentation for the Tift County Council on Child Abuse. Do I see Lily?
No, it's me.
Huh?
It's me who's here for the Child Abuse Council.
Okay. Well, Rona, I'm supposed to go down and read this. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
And hand it to her? Okay. Okay, if you'll join me up here, please, ma'am.
You can kind of peep around the government.
Thank you.
What time is the ceremony?
It's at 10:30.
And could I get your name?
It's Kelly Schotter.
All right, Ms. Schoenberg, thank you very much.
Thank you, ma'am. We now have a proclamation for the Georgia Cities Week. There's no one here to accept that, so I'll just read that from here at the bench if you don't mind. Georgia Cities Week 2015, whereas city government is the closest governance to the people it serves and the one government with the most direct daily impact upon its residents. And whereas city government is administered for and by its citizens and is dependent upon public commitment to and understand of its many responsibilities. Whereas city government officials and employees share the responsibility to pass along their understanding of public service and their benefits. And whereas Georgia Cities Week is a very important time to recognize the important role played by city government in our lives. And whereas this week offers an important opportunity to spread the word to all citizens of Georgia that through participation they can shape, influence, and truly impact their local government. And whereas the Georgia Municipal Association and its member cities have joined together to our citizens and municipal government through a variety of different projects and information. And now therefore, I, J.G. Jamie Cater Jr., Mayor of the City of Tifton, do hereby proclaim April the 19th through the 25th, 2015 as Georgia Cities Week in our community and encourage all citizens, officials, and employees to do everything possible to ensure that this week is recognized and celebrated accordingly. Ms. Rona, do you like to have this? I got it signed. And thank you.
Thank you.
And this is a really nice thing. We're doing a lot of little activities. I believe that, Jessica, didn't you give us a rundown on that at the workshop? Would you like to make a few comments about what all will be happening that week?
Sure. The week starts off on April the 19th. That night we will have the Ever After. It's going to be held at the TIFF Theater. It's a community theater program. It's a youth program. It's a live stage play that they're offering that Sunday night. Tuesday night at the library, we'll close down Library Lane. We'll have the fire truck, police car, basically a touch truck event for the kids. We're calling it the Downtown Carnival. And Thursday, April 23rd, we'll have the grand reopening of the Lion, and ribbon cutting will begin at 5 o'clock. All day, during that day, people can walk through, check out the community art. It's back up in the mine. We'll have popcorn and drinks. Just a fun day to remember the mine and see the renovation. So we have come out and join us. Having fun.
Thank you, Jessica. Appreciate that. I don't know how many of you noticed that when you before you walked to these doors, over to the left, we have a reading book nook. Is that what it's called? Where anyone can come and have a seat, most especially our children. And I just wanted to make recognition that Mariana could see, who was our representative for District 1.
That's great.
And who is now represented by Wes. But Mariana Cassee, one of our dear friends, that works with the library, and the library is responsible for graciously offering the restock of our books from donations from patrons. And just take a look when you leave out there. It's very nice, and there's a pile of books out there, Ron. I was very impressed with that. So I just wanted to make that notation. We now would like to have the approval of the council agenda, if we could, please.
I make a motion to approve the agenda as presented.
Second.
I've got a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor, please signify by raising your right hand, saying aye. Aye. That is unanimous. Now we come to a time that we all enjoy, when our citizens or our bosses can come up and say what they want to say, speak their piece. We give you a total, I think, Larry, of 5 minutes. Is that correct? So at this time, we'll recognize citizen input for anyone that might want to come up. Where's the podium? Okay.
We're going to have to reorder one. That one was broken, so it's.
Well,
on the way.
It's with the flag is where it is, right?
Yeah, today. You'll have to just come up and stand. You can use this as part of your table if you need to. So anyone that'd like to come up, please feel free to do so. All I ask is that you give your name and your address. Okay, sir.
My name's Hal Maxley, and want to come down here tonight and
What's your address, Mr. Baxter?
it's 73 Eagle Drive.
Okay.
But downtown, we've got some things going on down there. There's a lot of stuff, really, and it's all good stuff. And we're going to be starting probably I'd say in the next 3 months, we're going to be putting in some apartments, some upstairs loft apartments at the building next to the courthouse on 2nd Street. And then we'll also be, after that project is completed, then we'll be putting some upstairs apartments in the Bowen building up above the drugstore. The drugstore's it is now ready, and Bill Posey will now be moving in there within the next few weeks anyway. So there's a lot of stuff going on down there, and I've heard a lot of input about some things that we need to really revitalize down there. By people being there in apartments, they will shop down there. They will stay down there. There are restaurants, there are places that they can shop, and they'll stay down there. But they need public bathrooms. There are no public bathrooms down there, and there are several different places that they could be put. Right where the archway is on Main Street there, that really needs to be some picnic tables and different things of that nature, and there's some public bathrooms put there. And then maybe, I mean, the landscaping is nice, but we may need to change some of the landscaping up, and, there's gonna be some stuff that's gonna happen to the facade downtown a little bit to spruce it up and make it look better and all that. I know I'm gonna be doing that in the Bowen building. And I know that, John Flatico had told me he's gonna redo his up there, so, we've got some good folks. Mr. Harold Harper, he's got apartments down there, and he's been a big, force in revitalizing downtown, and you, as a council and as the mayor, have been very, very helpful in that area, because what we wanna do is, we want people that wanna locate businesses to find it easy to do. And we don't want them, in other words, what can we do to help you to come here? If we need to compromise in different areas, and that's the atmosphere and that's the attitude that we now have going on. The HPC has done all. I mean, it is like day and night, the difference in the HPC now. And that should be attributed because you as a council and as the mayor have made that to where people are now trying to locate businesses down there. So what we need is, you know, if you can find places to put bathrooms down there, public bathrooms down there, maybe some picnic tables there to where people could, you know, they can get them a sandwich or something over and stay down there and shop down there. So, but that's what I'd like to bring forward, and hopefully you'll consider it and you know, get started with it, because we're gonna be working real hard to make downtown Tifton revitalize and be a thriving thing that will make Tifton, you know, put us even farther on the map in different places maybe we haven't been. So anyway, that's all I have to say. Thank you so much.
Hal, thank you. Let me ask you, I'd like for you to come to the DDA meeting. It's the third Tuesday, Ms. Rowland, is that right? Third Tuesday at noon down at the Welcome Center down here.
Okay.
And I know that we discussed that during our last meeting. We talked about putting some furniture. In fact, they've ordered the furniture already. We've just put a fountain in there. I believe there was some concern about restrooms. But if you could come and give your view, that would certainly be helpful as well.
Absolutely.
And I'll check. I'm pretty sure it's the third Tuesday. Larry, you come. Yeah. And if you'd be willing to come and talk. And we appreciate what you and Mr. Harper and many others have done to formulate the downtown. It is picking back up momentum. You know, a lot of downtowns throughout Georgia and other states have just withered away. They've gone away. So thank God for the investors that are willing to come back and do something. And that takes Bert and his crew working with people to make this happen. And the HBC, it takes us all working together. But thank you for your comments, sir.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
All right, anybody else would like to come up and talk? All right. Seeing no one else, we'll move forward. I'd like to suggest the approval of the minutes, please. This would be for approval of the minutes February the 26th, our workshop, our call meeting March the 2nd, regular meeting March 19th, the workshop and call meeting, and March 30th was a call meeting. If we could just get one for all those, that'd be nice.
Make the motion that we approve the minutes as submitted.
Second.
Any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor, please signify by raising your right hand, saying aye. Aye. That is unanimous. Now we have consent agenda, and there's three different items here, and what I will always ask is if the council members have any reason why we would take one out rather than approve or disapprove all of them. Now, we take a look at these. We have workshops. Larry sends out emails, text messages. We have a lot of meetings. So we're not putting all these together just to throw them into one group and do it real quick. We have reviewed every single one of these. But I'll ask the council now, is there any of these three items that we need to to pick out from the consent agenda to talk about separately?
Mayor, I do have something. I'm going to need to recuse myself for item number 2, the enterprise zone application for the Cheminuses. I was involved in that real estate transaction, so I'll need to recuse myself from voting on that particular item.
Okay, but let's go ahead and let's do 2 and 4 while Julie is here, and then we'll allow her to step out. We'll do number 3. So
Actually, you'll do 3 and 4. I need to recuse from number 2.
okay, I saw Melissa up there, and I thought about your partner, Melissa.
Other Melissa.
Okay, so let's do 3 and 4 first, if we don't mind. Can we speak to 3 and 4, please?
You just need a motion to accept those two?
Yes, sir, 3 and 4.
Because we've already covered that in the workshop, so I'll make a motion to approve items number 3 and 4.
Second.
I got a motion, a second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor, please signify by raising your right hand, saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. That is unanimous. And Ms. Judy, we'll give you just a minute to. Where'd she go? Oh, okay. All right. All right, item number 2, do I have a motion?
I make a motion for line item number 2.
Second.
I got a motion, second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor, please signify by raising your right hand, saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Please ask Judy to come back in. Julie, it was unanimous? Uh-huh. We're going to move forward now with the ordinances. And the first ordinance we have is item number 5, which was the ordinance that was read in public hearing, providing for amendment to the Land Development Code to remove clubs and lodges private as a permissible use in the downtown commercial zoning district. Do I have a motion? That's the way it read.
So moved.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a motion, second. Any further discussion?
Mayor, I'd like to make some points here.
Yes, please.
I've talked a little with Larry and Rob about this particular ordinance in detail. I just want to read something to the council, to the audience out here, that I found from the Department of Justice on Religious Land Use and Institutional Persons Act. It says the land use provision of the Religious Land Use and Institutionalized Persons Act of 2000 protects individuals, houses of worship, and other religious institutions from discrimination in zoning and landmarking laws. Now, I've asked Rob a couple of questions. A couple of the, ideas that they have that would go against this is, number one, they treat churches or other religious assemblies or institutions on a treating churches or other religious assemblies or other institutions on a less than equal term with non-religious institutions. I think that we are trying to adhere to that. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay. Number 2 was discriminate against any assemblies or institutions on the basis of religion or religious denomination. I don't think we're doing that. But number 3 and number 4 is what I have a concern with, and that is totally excluding religious assemblies from a jurisdiction. And the number 4 is unreasonably limit religious assemblies, institutions, or structures within a jurisdiction. Now, Rob has identified a jurisdiction as the city limits. But my question to you, Rob, is this is a question from our conversation to here that I've come up with is, are we interpreting a new jurisdiction by saying downtown, by calling it downtown?
Now, basically, what the law is prohibiting is that a jurisdiction, such as the city of Tifton, Tift County, whatever your jurisdiction is that you cannot exclude some type of religious organization, religious facility, religious structure entirely. Now, what we can do is, certainly through our zoning laws, is allow certain land uses in certain areas. Now, what we do allow in the city is religious organizations, religious facilities in every zoning district
except for downtown commercial and heavy industrial. And I think that's right, is that Bert?
That is correct.
So basically, we are allowing religious organizations throughout our jurisdiction, but yet we exclude certain areas such as heavy industrial and commercial downtown. So, the problem, as you identified, Wes, is that we have to treat religious organizations the same as we do secular organizations.
Right.
So when we were looking at this particular issue, when we developed the land development code, certainly we have a lot of different types of land uses and permitted uses. And probably had we known what we know now, 2.5 years ago when we adopted the land development code, we would have had this provision as far as prohibiting clubs and lodges private from downtown, because we have to treat those type of organizations, secular organizations, the same as religious organizations. So if the Elks Lodge wanted to purchase a building downtown and use it as a place of meeting, that would be a no, because it would not be zoned. Same as the religious organization want to purchase a building downtown and use it for religious services, that also would be a no. So we're basically treating both secular and religious organizations the same. It's what we're trying to accomplish.
Are we calling downtown just Main Street, or is Commerce, I mean, what is is that left up for interpretation? I mean, that's
It's basically the downtown commercial district, which is basically
our central
Zone on the
business
map.
district? Our central business district, is that?
It's a zone, you'll have different areas zoned colored on the map, and Larry, you might be able to identify downtown commercial, maybe not.
Commercial downtown basically goes from 9th Street up to, and these lines vary, up to about 4th Street. And then it goes, from the east side of town at Tifton Avenue, Prince Avenue side, over to, Central Avenue. That's in a
In a
very
nutshell,
broad
that's the downtown
description, that's
jurisdiction.
the commercial downtown district,
That's commercial downtown jurisdiction,
zoning district.
zoning district. But in this, it tells us that we cannot discriminate based on zoning or land usage. Wouldn't that be the same thing? I mean, wouldn't we be doing that?
But we would not be discriminating once you make the change. I mean, right now, yeah, we would be discriminating because we allow private clubs and lodges, which are a secular organization in downtown commercial, but not religious organizations. So, no, you can't discriminate, and that's why we're putting in this fix. And when you talk about jurisdiction really is a term that's used for your power over a certain area, not the area itself. So the Superior Court has jurisdiction to hear felony cases,
Right.
Things of that nature. So your jurisdiction is the area of your power, not a certain location.
Okay. So as long as we've allowed it in the city limits, just not in a certain location, we could defend that successfully if we go in court.
Correct.
I've been lucky enough to be part of the Tift County Rotary Club, and I do know that there has been some opportunity downtown with some vacant buildings if there were a person who was wanting a restaurant, to put a restaurant in one of the downtown buildings or something like that. And a part of their, I guess, niche would be they have a private room for clubs to meet or whatnot. They would not be allowed to do that. Is that correct? So that would
They
hinder.
would.
They will?
They would. This is because the land use is a restaurant, not a meeting hall for the Elks Lodge.
But I'm just saying, let's just say the Rotary Club. Let's just say we decided to go and have our weekly meeting at that location. That would be permitted.
Yes. Because your land use is the restaurant.
The land use
Building
is
is
the
the
rest.
restaurant.
Okay. Are you through?
Yeah, I'm through.
When you say remove clubs, you're not talking about nightclubs. You're talking about like Rotary Club or Kiwanis.
It's basically a club that makes, that meets on a regular session. I don't have my land development code, but clubs and lodges are defined in your LDC as far as, a private club has
private membership meets on a regular, basis.
Okay, now, I just heard what you told Wes about if you had a restaurant, the restaurant would be there, and you could have a club like Kiwanis Club that goes, and that's their place where they come and eat their lunch every Wednesday or Thursday, whatever it is, and that would be okay.
That would be my opinion, Mayor. I don't think that the club could lease a building and have that building where they, have their regular meetings. I don't think that would be permitted. But I think if you have a restaurant which is zoned, which is permitted in downtown commercial, then that land use is a restaurant, not a meeting hall.
Well, that brings up my point that I mentioned in the workshop. The theater is a theater, and if Billy Graham comes to that theater and he has an evangelistic program, there's going to be some preaching. From what I'm understanding that's being said here, he couldn't have prayer in the theater, which is zoned as a theater. And I disagree with that. I think we should have that freedom. He's not coming here to buy a church. He's not putting a church in a downtown building. But I was told at the workshop he could not do that. And I've suffered that ever since I was told that. I have a problem with that.
I think when you look at unfortunately, I don't have land development code with me, but you need to look at the definitions of a religious facility and also the definition of clubs and lodges. If you give me a moment, Mayor, I might be able to pull it up.
Yeah, yeah.
And using your same analogy, that a restaurant's a restaurant and a club that can't buy the building but can come down and eat at it. The theater's a theater. Why couldn't an evangelist come and have a prayer service?
Because I think on the definition of a religious facility, they're conducting.
It's a theater, not a religious facility.
I understand.
The evangelist is using it, and there's going to be prayer in it.
Well, according to the definition that we have for religious facilities, my understanding, my recollection is that it's something that's utilized on a regular, you're having worship services on a regular basis.
On a regular basis.
That's the deal. An evangelist isn't on a regular basis. I don't want to tie something down. I understand we're not supposed to have street churches. I understand about why that's like that, I guess. But if you have somebody that wants to come and use that theater,
Well,
I
it's
don't
just like the
understand why we
gospel.
restrict that.
What you run into I think, Wes, your example about the Rotary Club.
Yeah.
I thought about that for the last 30 minutes since you asked the question.
Mhm.
And when you start talking about land uses in the Rotary Club or land uses for a religious service, the Rotary Club is problematic, quite frankly. I mean, never thought of it, because they do meet, every Wednesday or whatever.
Yeah.
But I guess the best example I can give when you talk about the theater and the land use is somebody wanted to bring a burlesque show to the TIFF Theater. Certainly, those type of, entertainment is not permitted as a land use in commercial downtown. So if you open up the gate to a certain temporary use within a district that does not allow that particular land use, then you're basically opening up for any other type of use that's not permitted in that zoning district, as long as they're just doing it on a temporary basis. So if you gave the example of having a religious service at the TIFF Theater, which is not a permitted land use right now in commercial downtown, then how do you prevent the burlesque show from coming into commercial downtown and having a strip show? Because that land use is not permitted in downtown commercial, nor is, the religious.
Would a county
services.
ordinance then come into play?
I'm sorry?
Would a county ordinance come into play? I mean, let's say a county says
Not, no, their zoning laws don't apply. We have our own zoning districts.
right, okay, so,
So, quite frankly, this is not an easy issue, as your questions well point out.
yes.
But one thing I do know is that if we are not allowing a religious facility in downtown commercial, but allowing a private secular club in downtown commercial, then we are running afoul of this It's the Religious Land Use and Institutional Persons Act. And know that.
Right.
Now, you're gonna get into these, tricky questions about, if you have the Rotary Club meeting at a restaurant, does that open us up, to a violation of federal law? Are we treating people differently? I think that's a good question.
Well, Rob, it's just like if, you're talking about clubs can't purchase a building and meet there. Well, we have a lot of office space available in downtown where someone could come in and say, we're gonna have our meetings here, we're gonna have a secretary here, we're gonna have an administrative secretary here, we're gonna add to your tax base. Sorry, we don't allow that.
And that's what
So-
if you approve this, that's what that would do.
Well, it sounds like maybe we need to re-workshop this. That's just my opinion right now.
Well, and I don't disagree with that. But one thing I think council needs to remember is that, if we are going to, if you wanna have a club, in downtown commercial, you wanna be able to rent your building to a club, such as the Elks Lodge or Veterans of Foreign Affairs or whatever.
A civic
A
organization.
civic organization, if you wanna do that in downtown commercial, then you're not going to be able to disallow a religious facility downtown. Because then you would certainly be violating federal law. I mean, whatever you're gonna run into situations, if you decide to approve and exclude religious facilities and clubs and lodges downtown, I would not doubt that there'll be issues that will arise, as uses may wanna come in and use these buildings. But I think that those are just gonna have to be looked at on a case-by-case basis. And, I think that, from talking with, Bert about it, and really trying to look at land use and how is that being used, not necessarily the building, but is that use permitted in this zoning district? Because what you're gonna wind up with is, if they rent it for a day, if they rent it for a week, if they rent it for a month, I mean, where do you draw that line?
What if you drew the line at nonprofit?
Pardon?
What if you drew the line at nonprofit? Nonprofit organizations the usage is different.
I think that you still may be having some issues.
A burlesque show is not a nonprofit.
What's that?
A burlesque show is not a nonprofit organization.
It all
So-
depends. You might already have a free show.
Nonprofits that are stationed downtown that actually, or have offices downtown. Do the nonprofits, like those all,
Well, they would be grandfathered in, though.
currently, but if they move from one A to somebody else's business, they're not gonna be able to move in there if you do just strictly nonprofits. Situation is that the fact that you have any zone, has nothing to do with the building, it has to do with the use of those buildings.
Mhm.
That is what it is. Whether you disallow clubs and lodges only hinges on the fact of whether you're going to disallow or allow religious facilities. And the problem you have in a commercial downtown district is usually parking. I mean, it is an issue. So for example, just to consider, if you put a church downtown that decides to have Tuesday afternoon at 4 o'clock meetings, or Saturday afternoon meetings at the bulk and hustle of the business district, they can fill every parking station you have legitimately with their members and block all your parking. And that is a real issue. And I think that, to me, is what expressed to me as part of the problem, or the issue of why they want to limit religious facilities downtown. It's not limit religion, it's more the parking problems that come about in the past. But the problem is, if you want to continue with that, right now, we're in limbo in my department.
So parking is what really brought this issue out.
Well, that's part of the problem, but it is a problem.
It's parking and economic development and the
Correct. And
discrimination.
economic
Right.
development is a real issue. So,
I'm okay with if we could delineate an evangelist coming to use the theater in a storefront church. If Billy Graham called me on the phone and said, I want to come to your town, Mayor.
I want to come to
And I
your
want,
theater.
and I want to use your theater, and I want to do a program one night. I ain't gonna tell him no.
Mayor, suppose, Hugh Hefner calls you up and says, I want to put on a show at the TIFF Theater.
I'm gonna tell him no. I don't know where all of our freedoms, I don't know where all of our freedoms have gone.
But that's
This
when I
country
say,
wasn't based on trash like that.
if you allow, I mean,
I'm sick
most
of it.
evangelistic programs, they are nonprofit organizations. They're five, was it 501?
501c3.
And if we would allow for, it's just like hanging the banner across the railroad tracks. Only government entities and nonprofit organizations are allowed to hang those banners across advertising and right before you go down Main Street. Is that right? I mean, that's correct, right? Yeah, okay, all right, I'm looking for you to say yeah, because I know that's what you told me. But, you know, what if we did that? I mean, that wouldn't be limiting anybody,
I
but,
like his idea about the nonprofit.
I mean, is that
might
a-
be the catch-all there.
Well, maybe what we should do is table this.
Yeah.
And let's kind of open up for some more discussion. And Wes, maybe, I can think through your idea.
yeah,
As I said, what really brought this up was the idea that, the clubs and lodges and permitting them downtown commercial gate was very troubling when we did not allow, religious organizations. I felt like we're really flying in the face of this law.
right.
Now, if there's a way that we can, figure out a way that we can allow some things, and disallow others without discriminating, then I'll be glad to see if we can drill down on this thing a little bit more and come up with some other options.
Mayor, I'd like to make a amendment to the original motion that we table this item.
Okay. I have a motion to
We
table.
have a motion and a second. Do we need to
We need to table
do
it to a
something
date
on that?
certain.
To a certain date.
Well, we have to go back to
Wait,
the
wait now.
original motion, that's for Ms. Smith to amend her motion. And the second.
And a second.
Yeah, we have a second.
Okay.
Yeah, okay, so we'll need an amendment for the motion and a second, then we'll do your motion.
You can just make, right now, you can just make a motion to table.
I thought so.
Okay.
So we'll make a motion, I'll need a second to table.
Would you like to,
Do I have a second to table?
We need to table it to a date certain.
Well, wait a minute, okay, you wanna make his motion a date specific,
Date
okay.
specific. What's the next,
May the 4th is the next regular meeting.
will
I'm
we have
assuming
enough
you want
time to go
table it.
through that information?
I believe so, and then, I think it would be a good idea, we will address the motion, at the regular session in May.
Mhm.
We can, do another workshop, we can workshop. it
We can
again.
workshop
Workshop at April
And we
16th.
can, and then in the event, after we do the workshop, we still, feel like we need some more work, we can again extend it on out. But I think that within 30 days, we should be able to, have something that you all feel comfortable with, together with workshopping it again.
Okay, I have a motion to table to a specific date, do I have a second?
I'll second.
I have a motion, a second, any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor of tabling to the specific date, please raise your right hand, say aye.
Aye.
That's unanimous. All right, the, item number 6, the first reading of an ordinance amending the charter to provide for a change in the fiscal year.
I make a motion for line item 6.
Second.
I have a motion, second, any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor, please signify by raising your right hand, saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. That's unanimous. Item number 7, ordinance reaffirming and ratifying all acts of the city taken in connection to the change in the fiscal year.
I make a motion for line item 7.
Second.
I got a motion, second, any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor, please signify by raising your right hand, saying aye.
Aye.
That is unanimous. Moving on to other business. Item number 8, discussion and approval to begin the bid process for a landfill compactor. Mr. Ricky?
Mayor, I got just a little different request from y'all. This request is actually going to be in the FY16, but it was in my 5-year plan project in FY15. And what this is a landfill compactor. And our 5-year buyback is up in December of 2015.
Oh,
And as you see on your report there, we've already spent well in excess of $70,000 above normal repairs on this particular piece of equipment. So to alleviate some of that
repairs, and also the length of time it takes to bring in a compactor, which is usually about 6 months from start of time. I'm requesting to go ahead and just start an RFP process now to get us ahead of the ball game. Because it is a piece of equipment that I will have to maintain the landfill.
Okay.
And this is just hopefully to eliminate some of the more expensive costs to this piece of equipment. Just go ahead and try to move it out.
And you're budgeting almost wait,
Pardon me?
well, it says discussion, Rona, so we can discuss it, or we have to make a motion before we can discuss it?
Discussion and approval.
Okay. And you're asking for $700,000 for the budget?
Yes, that will be the FY16.
FY16.
That's in the capital projects program, the 5-year capital projects program.
Okay,
It was already previously showing you in our 5-year
I
plan.
see. So we'd have already been budgeting for that as we go, correct? That's not gonna be a direct hit, because I know some of that stuff we do on those capital improvements, we kind of set aside money and say, okay, now we're at this certain point.
There's money set aside for purchases.
Okay. 'Cause that's gonna be that's a major hit,
How
$700,000.
much money is aside? Do you know?
We got right now about $1 million in the woods. I'm sorry?
800,000?
800,000.
Okay,
All right.
okay, that's all the questions I have. Thank you. For me.
You said, that piece of equipment is how much?
The request will be 700,000.
700?
Yes, sir. Usually they'll come in a little lower than that once they start their process and give you the municipal prices.
It was already in the 5-year,
Yes,
plan.
it's
We're just
already
asking for a few months in advance, that's all.
Okay.
What we're trying to do is start the purchasing process.
Right.
Ahead of time, so that we can get, the lead time on those is probably 6 to 9 months.
Okay.
We're trying to avoid going past the buyback period on the current compactor. And if we can do that, then we'll be a little bit ahead of the ballgame. So
Okay.
we'll be on.
Plus any further expenses
Yeah.
that
Okay.
incurred on this piece of equipment.
And also
Okay.
that piece of equipment, we'll put it on the market to recoup some of our costs of the new, like we always do in the buyback program. Through that.
Okay. All right, thank you, Ricky. Do I have a motion?
I move to accept the bid process for landfill compactor.
A second.
I have a motion and 2 seconds. I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor, please signify by raising your right hand, saying aye. Aye. That's unanimous. This next item, number 9, Rob, I have a conflict here. So I will step out. I will ask Mr. Vice Mayor if he would take over chairing the meeting. And Jessica, I would ask you to let me know whenever I can come back in. I'll excuse myself, let the record reflect that, and Johnny will take over.
Colin is in my way. Is Robert not here? Is Robert still on vacation? Yeah.
He's not in this meeting, though.
Well, are we ready to discuss this? Okay, all right. I've talked to some of the theater board members and asked them their opinion on this matter. Yeah, theater board, right? Okay. And from what I've been told is that they have discussed some revenue generating projects and have asked for some financial information, budgeting items and things like that, so they could sort of create this strategy to present to the board, and they have not yet been given that information and never have been given that information.
This is about the easement.
I thought we were the TIF Theater Board. Number 9.
On this sheet, we have 2 different agendas. We have something on the screen and something in our hands. They're not the same.
Yeah, they're different.
Okay, oh, I'm sorry, that's exactly
Yeah.
what I was talking about, I'm sorry.
Well, number 9, there's nothing in your packet on number 9. That's why you have a number 8 and then a number 10.
Yeah, Ron, but what's on the screen here is not the
Yeah,
same as
it's
what's in
different.
front of
What's
us.
on our
I'm sorry,
screen
and that's
up
what I'm
here.
going
You're
off
going
of,
by the
because I don't
screen.
have the back page.
He didn't get a second page on
Your
his deal.
agenda?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I wonder if
Sorry about that.
Yeah.
Well,
Well, we could share an agenda.
all right,
How about that?
yeah, the TIF
James
theater
Bond.
easement. I've seen
Easement,
everybody,
that's
I
what we
sent
are.
everybody the copy of that agreement. Hope you had an opportunity to read it. It's a fair compromise for the safety of our citizens, as you all know. I'd like to make a motion for, the easement, the TIF theater easement.
Second.
Okay, if you'll notice in the easement agreement, there's the amount of that easement has been left blank, and that needs to be determined by council as to how much that will be annually.
Are you talking about the amount? What was the, it was $25 on,
It started at 25, but then it went up, and then it came back down. I think the last time we had a discussion on this, and
it was 25. It was $30, $30.
$30.
$30 a year,
annually, yes.
annually. $30 an annual.
That's
And right
right.
now, just to give you something to compare that to, all of this parking we have with the railroad down here, all the way from 9th Street to come up to Central Avenue, and across the, street at Canaanite parking lot and down in that area, we pay, about $1,200 a quarter for all of that. This is about $300 per parking lot. So $30 annually in a similar situation. If you compare square footages, that's a very reasonable request.
Yeah, I mean, I'm okay with $30.
Would that be a form of motion, sir?
Form of a motion, yeah.
I'll second that amended motion.
You second?
Yeah.
Okay, I have a motion and a second on the easement. All in favor, raise your right hand and say aye.
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 Aye. Ms. Ronald, that is unanimous. We can bring the mayor back now.
Sorry about that. I was just looking.
Yeah, good
I'm looking at
presentation on the theater
I'm
board
looking at
there.
what's presented,
I'm
so
so-
anyway.
I'm sorry, I just learned that that agenda was just an agenda that's
Yeah.
pulled up.
Yeah, yeah.
It wasn't out of the share plus.
Okay.
That was one of the first ones that went in.
So number 11 is different too on the screen versus what we have on our paper.
Yeah, because we've got Book Nook.
We've already taken care of number 11.
Okay,
So that's it?
Okay.
We're trying to work through our new technology,
Okay,
so it's
'cause-
created a little bit
Because,
of a.
you know, the agenda that I made the motion to approve is one I'm looking at,
Yeah.
which is different than, I guess, the screen. So, need to make sure the media that's out there gets a current copy, a legal copy.
All right, well, I'm back, ready to move on. Item number 10 is consider HPC board appointments and reappointments. Is that correct? I guess what I got, number 10.
Number 10.
Yeah.
Yeah, number 10.
We'll share. Embarrassing.
I've communicated with Mary Glenn Hendricks, she does not wish to be reappointed. Mark Peterman does wish to be reappointed, and I've yet to hear from Erica Johnson.
Mary Glenn Hendricks, I've got Mark Sand
Mark
Middleton on my sheet.
Oh, Lord.
So Mark Sand does not want to get back on?
No, sir, she does not. She
Hmm.
said she felt like she served long enough.
Gosh.
And we don't have anybody interested in serving?
Not at this point.
Not at this point?
So Ms. Johnson and Mr. Peterman need to be reappointed. And then we'll have a vacancy.
Erica.
Erica Johnson.
They are available for reappointment.
But she's not yet told us if she would like
She
to.
has not told us. We can reappoint her, and then if she chooses not to serve, I can report that back.
You're talking about Mark Sand. So Erica,
No,
Mark
sir,
Sand.
Erica Johnson.
Ma'am? Oh, Erica.
Johnson.
Erica hadn't told you whether she wants to or
No,
not.
sir, she hasn't. I sent her a couple of emails.
So can we go ahead and appoint Erica and Mark Sand and see what happens?
You all can do what you want to do.
We can't, well, how do I address it?
Okay, well, I'll make a motion to reappoint Mark Peterman and Erica Johnson.
Well, I think this needs to go to workshop. Mr. Attorney, don't let me overstep my bounds here.
I think, if you would like to go to shopping, we certainly can.
Okay, I would track my
You
motion
have a
then.
motion on the table.
I retract it.
So you're withdrawing your
I'm with,
motion?
it just got withdrawn.
But if we know Mr. Peterman does wish to continue serving, could we not go ahead and, that
Go
who you
ahead.
said?
We can go ahead and make that motion to
Reappoint Mr. Peter.
Mr. Mayor,
Yeah.
staff recommendation at this time for the HTC board recommendations is to table this and bring it back after we have a workshop on it.
Okay.
Can I again ask a question yet? I mean, why would we table this if we don't have anybody that's interested in? I mean, I'm sorry,
I don't know either.
I'm lost here. You got Mr. Peterman that's ready to serve, and we don't have people knocking at the door to serve on these committees.
There's some staff concerns that need to be addressed.
Okay?
Did we discuss this in the workshop, the concern?
Okay,
I just let everyone know that these terms were up for expiration.
That's right.
okay.
Well, I withdrew my motion because Mr. Wilmot, advised it probably needs to be workshopped.
I would like for somebody, I would like for you to, cause this hitting Julie blind, so I'm
Yeah.
It's
gonna,
hitting me
after this
too.
meeting's over, somebody needs to tell her what's happening.
And tell Wes too.
I
And
would
tell
like
West
to
to-
address the staff concerns with any member of council at any time,
Okay,
immediately after, whatever.
okay. Do we have to vote? We withdrew that, so what do we need to do?
Just table it.
Well, what if somebody else wants to make the motion and second it?
Yes.
We have to allow for that, don't we? He withdrew his motion. If someone else, if two others wanted to make the motion second, they have a right to. He removed his, but then you said the staff would prefer us to table. Is that what you said?
Yes, sir.
So what I ask for now, a motion to table, is that? And that'll take precedence over anything else. Okay, do I have a motion?
Okay,
to second?
I'll motion to
To
table to the workshop for staff's discussion.
Do I have a second?
Okay.
I got a second there.
Second. Oh, I second. So,
I really feel bad that maybe I hadn't talked to enough councilmen because I'm aware of something that maybe nobody else is. And I'm feeling a little guilty. It wasn't intentional, but I was given some information. I don't guess anybody else was given that information, so I apologize.
Well, maybe as a result, we could ask Natasha to put something in her article that we do have various boards. We've asked you to do this before, various boards and authorities and things that we need
That's right. We
citizens
sure
to
do.
volunteer for, and to
We
call
sure
Rhoda
do.
if they're interested.
That's
and-
right. Good point, Julie.
Okay.
Okay, we've asked for a table. We got a second. Any further discussion? All in favor, say by raise your right hand, saying aye.
Aye.
And that's unanimous. Item 11 is the announcement on library
We're
donation.
taking care of that one there.
Oh, so we're done?
We're done.
We're adjourned.
Okay.
Oh, my goodness.
That's screwed.